All right. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to give you a couple of updates. One, I wanted to tell you a bit about what happened over the last, since Thursday night when the union decided to go on strike. First, we put the railroad to bed and made sure all our trains got to the yards okay. Then on Friday morning, we started our service as we planned and made sure all our customers got to where they needed to get to. Our focus this entire time has been to make sure we, in a calm, collected manner, make sure we implement our contingency plan, which is what we've done. I want to give you an example of how we handled our approach to the strike by talking about the Shakira concert. As all of you know, before the concert, we said that there would not be mass transit service available. That was true for the rail service. Here's what we did do, though. Coach USA had a pre-purchased ticket option that for customers who wanted to get to the MetLife Stadium. But we knew that that would be a challenge. So what we did is pre-position some of our buses at Port Authority to supplement Coach USA's plan from the start. We did something else. We also had 50 buses waiting at Vince Lombardi and last night at Lot K of MetLife to just make sure we're there, to make sure nobody's stranded. So what happened? Within 45 minutes of the concert being done, New Jersey Transit quietly but efficiently moved every single person that wanted to get on a bus out of there. That is a testament to calm, quiet, but very efficient planning and execution. That is what I'm so proud of my colleagues for doing. On the rail side, we've been working very diligently, should this strike come to an end soon, to make sure we're ready to wake up the railroad, as it were, to get our assets planning, if you will, to get our assets pre-positioned should we need it ready to go as soon as the deal is reached. That gives you a sense of how we're handling it. Did we see some overcrowding on some of our bus lines? Yes. But the good news is what we were able to do is to make sure we had enough buses to absorb that overcrowding without leaving anybody, one, waiting in line because one bus was too crowded. Our positioning of buses was efficient to make sure every person who wanted to get on a bus had a bus available. And should the strike move on to Monday, we will do just that in a much more enhanced manner. What I'm suggesting to you is not that we don't understand the impact that the union's decisions to go on strike has had on the 350,000 customers. But what I am suggesting to you is I am so grateful to the extraordinary work of men and women at New Jersey Transit to step up and try to meet this moment and try to make the lives of the customers just a little bit easier as they navigate through this very challenging moment. The other thing I'm so proud of is our ambassadors. You've seen some of them here this morning. We had our non-aligned workers, if you mean non-aligned, non-union members, who worked so tirelessly since the strike to make sure they're at train stations, to answer questions, to help people to get to where they need to go in a moment that is challenging for anyone. That gives you a sense for how we're doing it. But let me pivot to the status of negotiations for a second. Last night, I got reached out from the national president of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Training to ask if we would meet with them today. The governor and I promised we would do that anytime, anywhere at to discuss, to see if we can get to a resolution on this issue. We agreed to meet today, and I intend to meet with them today. And as you know, there's a pre-scheduled meeting with the National Mediation Board tomorrow. So what I wanted to tell you is we're going to meet the union today, we're going to meet them tomorrow, all with this goal of getting to a deal so we can get them back to work, get our customers the reliable service they need. But I want to be crystal clear. I've said this, the governor has said this, we want a fair deal that will not break the bank. That is our principle. We are not moving from that, and I hope the union understands that that is where we are and that is where we will be. Ultimately, fair wages is their position, which I respect. Not breaking the bank is our position that they should respect. Remember this, there's only 3 places money comes from to run New Jersey Transit. Fare payers who pay for their fares to get on their trains and buses, corporate transit fees, or general taxes that the residents of New Jersey pay. That's it. This is not a private company where there's profits. We need to make sure we live within our means, and the governor and I have said we will not make a decision on a labor contract that will leave the next governor a mess to clean up. We will not be SEPTA. We will not be any of those transit agencies that are in a death spiral financially because of decisions that are bad that were made several years ago. I will not be party to it. The governor will not be party to it. So that's what we're going to say. But I want to say something about the locomotive engineers. The governor and I were at Aberdeen yesterday, and I saw a few of our colleagues, the locomotive engineers, on the picket line. I went and talked to them because I wanted them to know that I appreciate their contribution to this agency. I wanted them to know. I don't have any ill will against them. Neither does the governor, and neither do any of my colleagues who are here with me. What they said to me is they just want to get back to work. And I appreciate it, and I said that my entire objective is to make sure they get back to work, and so do all the other union members, so we can get our customers moving safely and efficiently again. That is my singular objective. So what you're going to see me do today, after I leave here, is to go back to the negotiating table and show my colleagues who are on the other side of the table the same respect I've now shown them. We're going to be calm, we're going to be mission focused, and we're going to try and get to a deal that is fair and fiscally responsible. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Kris, question for you as well. How long after the deal is struck do we expect service to basically resume again? So for instance, if you guys come to a deal or settlement tomorrow, will service from Monday be resumed as normal?
Look, I mean, I know Jimmy Sincaglio is here, who's the head of rail ops. He and his team are working tirelessly to plan for that eventuality, whether it's tomorrow or next week. Our job here is, as efficient we were in putting the railroad to bed when the strike went into place, it is to make sure we get the service back on as quickly as possible when the strike is over. I will tell you, I know he hasn't slept, Mike Kilcoyne hasn't slept, I haven't slept, and I know the police department hasn't slept, and neither have any of the employees who are working day in and day out to make sure the service during the strike is going well and the service after the strike goes well. Look, I mean, I've said this to you, I don't know, over the last couple of days, that we're 95% of the way there on all the terms and conditions. This issue of wages is an important one, and it's a complex one. I think, I've always believed that a deal is imminent and it is achievable, but we understand their side. I now need them to understand our position, that we will not break the bank in getting this deal done. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The governor, look, the governor and I talk 20 times a day to where? No. Yeah, sorry. No. We're meeting with the unions at 1 o'clock today.
In terms of riders on Friday, you have numbers. Was it likely the typical Friday? Was it going to stay away? Was it the same Monday numbers wise? And will you be able to accommodate, concert or location, all things with multiple places where you can try and backfill the process?
So let me answer the concert. You were right. Because look, the concert was a single event, but it also happened to have literally at the most challenging time for the agency, right? But what I wanted to convey there is we were able to execute a strategy from a mass transit standpoint that actually worked the way we intended to, even though very few people knew we were actually going to be there to service that. So that's done. On a Friday, typically the work from home numbers are very high. So when we said we saw a slight surge in demand on some of our buses. So what that percentage basically was able to fill the gap is those people, even on a bus line, who decide to stay back, who are now being supplemented with the rail traffic. So I think we were able to manage it okay. What will happen on Monday, should the strike go on till then, is our ability to surge our capacity of buses on those train stations that typically see a large volume of train customers to meet them, and for those non-train customers that are not on the Northeast Corridor or on other lines, we have those park and rides. So I've always said a bus system is not a substitute for a train system, but we will be prepared to handle the volume, but not at the level a train system would. So what I'm going to encourage people to do is, should this go on till Monday, and if you can continue to work from home, it would be a hugely helpful moment for us to manage the volume.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right. Thank you all.